Good evening and welcome to our March online gathering. Second month in a row that we're on the third Tuesday, and it'll be the same again next month. Let's see how that distance between the content going online and the Q&A works for people. It happened due to my availability, but do give me feedback if you're finding one or the other works better in terms of you integrating the material of the study circle and so forth. So let's start right into the feeling exercise. Find a comfortable way of sitting. And as you sit with no big deal, no fuss, there isn't a certain posture you need to adapt. There's no certain way you need to feel. Just be as you are. Allow your senses to spread in every direction. Allow yourself to feel the antennae and sensors that you have out in all directions, to the sides, to the front, to the space above you, to the space behind you, and below. Just feel into all of the surrounding space. And throughout this feeling exercise, this meditation, keep that corona of sensation alive and awake. All those sensors, all those antennae, all those feeling somethings, feeling extensions of you into the space that surrounds you. And while you feel that spacious sensory expansion, that expansion of your awareness into the space that surrounds you, front, back, sides, top, bottom, follow the flow and the movement of your breath down with the exhalation, in and up with the inhalation. So while your awareness very much rests on the space and its expansion, also let your sensory awareness embark upon the journey down with your out-breath as your chest sinks, as your being calms into being more seated, more landed, more present. Feel that flow of the exhalation which, without any of your doing, just leaves. It just flows. It just flows And as it flows, at the end of the exhale becomes thinner and thinner. And with one part of your sensory awareness, you follow it to where it may flow. And you notice each time that you can only follow it so far. And when your mind has no issue with that, when your mind is not seeking to grasp, to need to understand where the breath is going or follow it to any predetermined distance, then take in just what it feels like to let the out-breath dissolve into a space that's no longer fully accessible to your perception, that you can no longer follow. Feel what it is like to be conscious of that, cognizant of that, and at peace with that. I don't know where that's going, but I sure feel that it's left and that it's gone on its way. And then as you begin to feel the flow of the breath coming in, the breath that just fills the space that's been opened at the end of the exhale, again, take note of the fact that you don't know where that's coming from, nor can you fully track where it's going to, but what does it feel like to allow yourself to be flooded in the most gentle way by whatever it is that's coming to you, from wherever it is that it's coming from. Embark upon the next exhale in the same fashion, just riding it with your sensory awareness. Having all the time in the world to notice how the breath thins towards the end. I don't know where it's going. I can follow it a bit with my sensory awareness, but then I lose track. Take particular heed of that sensation of consciously allowing it to flow from the areas you can clearly feel into the areas you can guess exist, that you can sort of feel, but not really. And releasing the breath and whatever movement comes from it into that space. And then from that space, receive the next inhale and allow yourself to be flooded by it with no comment. and keep following that cycle of being completely emptied by an exhalation that you can only follow with your sensory awareness so far, to then be completely filled and flooded with an inhale that you can only track so far, while again turning your attention to that part of your awareness, your sensory awareness, that was stretching its antenna in all directions, sensorily aware of all the space around you, while at the same time feeling the movement out and the movement in. Feeling when the movement out becomes untrackable, feeling when the movement in becomes untrackable, and you are right in the middle of that. Feeling spacious and fluid all at once. And with those 12 or 13 minutes, you have enough to keep exploring this, to keep working with this month. The sense of spaciousness and connection to all the space around you, the connection to a sense of flow that you can track to a certain extent and then not anymore, help you work with some significant aspects of what liver function energy opens you up to. There's the birthing with ease, releasing things into the world with ease. That's an important aspect of what we call liver function energy. There's a connection of a sense of smoothness and a sense of connection to all that is. There's also, as soft as the experience of that flow is, a sense of being very much here and very much alive and very much in flow. But I don't want to talk too much about the experiences that may come as you work and practice with this, because I don't want to be dragging you in a certain direction, so to speak. So, this month of March 2023, we are concluding our discussion of organ function energy, the energy that builds a life. It's been a 15-month journey. It's been quite exciting. And those of you who are in the study circle know, in teaching video number 1 for this month, I went through the whole story of 12 organ function again, and it's my joy to announce that that video, that teaching video number 1 from the March 2023 online study circle, will soon be up on my YouTube channel for anyone to watch, and then give some thought to whether you might want to purchase the 12 organ function journey, the 15-month journey through life building, bodybuilding energy. And if not, well, you'll certainly get a lot out of watching those maybe 20 minutes of a general overview, maybe it's a little less, of the whole journey of bodybuilding, consciousness expanding energy, consciousness being written into a body. That is the story of organ function energy. And since I mentioned I would announce what we're continuing with next month, I'm very, very excited to announce that on April 7th, first Friday in April, we will start a 5-month journey, drum roll, a 5-month journey of reimagining pulses, reimagining pulse listening, an artist's guide to pulses. So we will be looking at pulses in a very practical way, but we will be reimagining them. If this is something that you're interested in, you'll have 2 choices. You can either join the online study circle by April. Anytime you're a member of the study circle, you have access to the current month's episode plus the 11 months before it. So you'd even get a look at the last few months of organ function energy. And you can end your membership if the 5-month journey of reimagining pulse listening is all you wanted. But you'll also have the option to acquire lifetime access to that package in a premium deal right away. And I will soon be sending out newsletters about that with more information on those offers that will be coming to you in time before the April 7th release date. At the end of this video, we'll be showing this chart again, and that'll take you to the page or pages where you can sign up for the said newsletter. So, 5 months of reimagining pulse listening. And then starting in September, we have another very exciting journey coming, but it's way too early to tell you about that one. So, let me get into the questions that I've received for tonight. There was one that Michael sent last month that I sort of hastily got into at the end of our Q&A. And today I'm pretty committed to staying within the hour time frame, which is good, I think, for everybody here. Although, of course, you can always go back to YouTube and watch this later. So I gave Michael a brief answer, but here is the full question so everybody knows it. Hello, Michael. Hello, Matthias. He writes, I am pleased to see that I can probably join your talk in real time today. Oh, Michael, I don't know if you're joining in real time today, but I hope so. Also hope you had a wonderful birthday. I am home watching over plumbers repairing my main water drain line to the city's sewer lines under the street. What channel of body energy might that correspond to? Well, it would be bladder. But sometimes sewage is just sewage too, you know? Bladder function energy has, this is not seriously Michael's question, by the way, it's there sort of by the way, so I'm commenting on it. Some of us enjoy sort of looking at outer circumstances, outer happenings in our life, and seeing whether there seems to be a real anchored resonance to something that's going on inside. I think it's a bit obsessive and sort of beyond the mark to try and pin everything outer to something inner, but sometimes you clearly have a sense of, oh, this plumbing issue isn't just out there, it's something to do with me. And then the sewage and connecting to what takes the stuff I no longer need away, softly. There would definitely be a connection to bladder function energy here. Anyway, this question may be too late to consider, but I sent it along to see if there is time to consider it. Oh, I guess that question. Regarding our visit to the gallbladder energy today, I would welcome your thoughts on how I might support my clarity as I continue to move forward toward retirement this July from my main employment, leading my online creative arts and mindfulness mental health day program at a local hospital. I have my 70th birthday next month. I hope you had a wonderful one. Greetings to all fellow Piscean ones. Thank you. I am a fellow Piscean one. And thank you, I had a very nice birthday. I have many dreams as to possible directions I might explore in the semi-retirement I am envisioning. I may work on call in my former program, I may invest in more study of Jitsu and teach some self-care classes. I'm excited to study the psychotherapy approach known as internal family systems, IFS. I may create a private practice doing that work and my previous trainer as a dance movement therapist. I am gearing my guitar playing and singing, finding some promising potential collaborators. The list goes on. How wonderful that the list goes on. My issue is, perhaps you can guess, is how to discern what to pursue and what to let go of to defer for later, or defer for later. This feels like an issue for gallbladder energy, but do you see other elements? So that part of the question, Michael, I did respond to last month, that gallbladder does indeed have a reputation for helping with decision making. However, I also pointed out at the end of last month's Q&A that in general, I wouldn't pick a flow to fix a problem, so to speak. I wouldn't say, okay, gallbladder, but I'm sure you understand that. So let me get into something else. You described the beautiful abundance of things you are interested in. My goodness. So there's art and music and dance and movement and this wonderful method called IFS, Internal Family Systems, pioneered by Richard C. Schwartz, Dick Schwartz, who any of you interested can look up on YouTube and so many other channels. This wonderful system that holds that we are all, healthy as we are, composed of many different parts. There's nothing pathological about that. On the contrary, it's just how we are set up. And if we develop a compassionate art of listening, truly listening to what those parts really want, rather than judging them because of the roles they sometimes take on and mistaking them for those roles, then they can be unburdened and find peace and help us be who we are, which is what they've been trying to do, but not always found a free and unburdened path to doing. So that was my little excursion on IFS. I'll get back to that in a minute, Michael, to answer your question. But first of all, I'd like to encourage you to just celebrate the abundance. You're not in retirement yet, if I'm not mistaken. So first, I would like you, sort of in the sense of today's exercise, to stretch your feelers out into all those different areas that make your heart sing. My God, there are so many. And they're all quite valid. So before trying to find a specific flow that helps you pinpoint the thing, or the things that feel right, just first really, really, really celebrate the aliveness in you that has a true and keen interest in all of these. The only thing to mind is when you feel a nervousness, a FOMO, fear of missing out, moment coming up. Then the part that's nervous about missing out, and the part that may be nervous about, oh, maybe this is what I would like to do, but maybe the universe is calling on me to... Those nervous voices? Now this from IFS. Listen to them. Ask them, who are you? What would you like me to know about you? What are you nervous about? That sort of thing. That's one thing that you can do using the wonderful tools of IFS. With Jitsu, being in movement, with this sense of feeling into the body, where is it located in the body? Where is it located in the body? What does it feel like? Not what does it mean, not what is it trying to tell you, but simply what does it feel like? And what happens in that area as you stay there with your sensory awareness, just feeling it without comment. And then you can dive more deeply into either working with a flow that helps decision and decisiveness, like gallbladder, or safety energy locks 11 and any flow that might work with them. But you may also want to go through the carousel of the 12 organ function energy and see which one of these 12 aspects that we're each made up of would help me here. What about going to heart function energy, for example? Heart function energy, the Leo aspect of any human being, heart function energy that helps me connect more strongly with the part of me that's just radiantly me. Look at my richness, look at the abundance, the radiant, luminous abundance of things I'm interested in. Look at what makes my heart sing. Look at this abundance. Look at how wonderful this is, how much there is. And when I'm at my most radiant, my most royal, my most Leo self, what resonates with me most? That would be another path. Might be well worth trying. Or if more discernment, getting a clearer sense of just what the point of this particular field of interest is, and just what all this particular field of interest has to offer, and what all this one, those nuances will become clearer with small intestine function and energy. And so you can go through the carousel of 12 organ function energy. And if you're not familiar with the 12 organ function carousel in that way, you'll be looking forward to that video I just announced that I'll be putting up on YouTube shortly. But those are some hints. So first, do not consider it a problem that you have so many things that make your heart sing, but enjoy and celebrate the richness. Then check for body resonance. You see yourself doing this. How does that sit with you? I feel my body resting into it. How does this sit with you? I feel kind of excited but not connected to the floor. Okay, maybe leave that aside, for now at least. How does this one feel? Oh, it makes me feel kind of heavy and a little anxious. All right, maybe that's not for now, etc. Very simple way of choosing. It's something I often recommend in terms of choosing a flow too, by the way. When practitioners ask me, how do I settle on a flow when I see several options that might just work and be valid? So I hope that gives you and everyone else something to play with. The next question is one from Anna, which I think I just overlooked last month, because Anna replied to the newsletter and said, "Thank you very much. Due to a very sad situation in my personal life, I have a serious problem with bruxism. Bruxism, I don't know what it's pronounced like in English, B-R-U-X-I-S-M. Bruxism is grinding one's teeth, clenching and grinding one's teeth, and a lot of people have it in this day and age. So I read it superficially and mistook it as just a comment of perhaps why Anna wouldn't be able to join. But in case it was a question, I sent you an email, Anna, asking, did you want me to treat that as a question? That's just too much. I'm needing to hold on to this issue of I just can't get my teeth to unclench. I just can't get my teeth to unclench is generally large intestine function energy. The torus of holding the abundance of what is mine and what belongs to me and what is part of my life and my being, just holding on to it but not knowing how to find the just measure of holding on and releasing. So work with that. Sometimes it might also be kidney function energy. Kidney function energy where an energy that wants to renew things, break things up, change things, finds no other way than to turn that energy against me. But you would know that. That's a very different feeling from the I just can't, it's just that's the large intestine excess, can't get out of this. Whereas I'm sort of eating away at myself, grinding my teeth, like something, some of my energy is eating me up. That kind of energy, I'm being very, very demonstrative here. That kind of energy points you to a kidney imbalance, kidney function, energy, and Scorpio energy imbalance in each of us, right? So work with that and let me know where it gets you. So next is Taj. Hello, Matthias. She writes, and there are 3 paragraphs. J is J, the purloined letter. My organ function energy experiential noticing this for this month spans all 12 organs. Yeah. 2 weeks ago, I received a panic phone call from the boyfriend imploring me to contact the police. My girlfriend was trying to commit suicide. The succeeding week demanded a lot from my body and mind as I turned this into an opportunity for my own growth. Yeah, congratulations on being able to do that. I found the most space in healing using the start of each of the 12 organ flows in sequence, meaning I held the first 2 locks, paid attention to the pulse as it changed until I sensed some completion, and then moved on to the next organ. Even just after the first set of 4, lung, lung. Okay, I'm not going to read the letters that are here. The first 4 are lung, large intestine, stomach, and spleen. The letters here are different, but that's surely what you meant, because those are the first 4. Even after the first set of 4, lung, large intestine, stomach, and spleen, stability and balance was flooding into my being. I'm forever grateful for this empowerment. Jinshin Jitsu is such a gift of possibility, right here in my own hands, with guidance from you and the Jinshin Jitsu lineage, and with full participation from me. And yes, thankfully my friend is still alive. So the reason, what a brilliant solution to have found. And the reason this may be such a precious tool to have used, to those who have never done it, it may sound like, oh, that's a lot. 12 first steps, so this is lung, large intestine, stomach, spleen, heart, small intestine, bladder, kidney, diaphragm, umbilicus, gallbladder, and liver. You know, it's a lot to do, 12 steps, but if you understand organ function energy to be what builds and rebuilds your system 24/7, but once every 24 hours, as well as once throughout the cycle of the year, as well as simultaneously all the time, then at a time where somebody who is close to you or who you feel closely involved with is debating whether to break with life as a whole, you bring the information back into your system. Well, you know, life really always follows the same principle. There must be enough fire of I am to say, all right, I'm having a bad day, but I'll still go and seize life with this bad day kind of energy, not with the, it's a bright, youthful May Day, and I'm going to seize life and all its opportunities. Let me move this a little further back so you can see those movements when they get a bit bigger. You know, so it's not one of these days, but still, I'll seize what portion of life's opportunities is not too much for me, and I don't have the strong oomph of a real strong Taurus / large intestine aspect that can hold a lot of abundance in my space, but I'll do enough holding to get through another day, and I'll do enough processing and digesting to get through this one kind of okay, and I won't completely shut off feeling. I'll open up to feeling a little bit, and There's always the standing there in my own radiance to whatever extent the day's energy allows, and there is heart function, and there is the discerning, what have we here, what's this next thing coming up, of small intestine. And no, we don't always have bright days of reinventing, scientific research and differentiated interest in the world or even ourselves, but whatever part of discernment the day still allows, etc. And so it goes on through the 12. I went through 6 of the 12. So just keep reminding myself, and through myself and my own experience, keep reminding the world out there that life does follow this constructive rhythm on a bad day as much as it does on a good day. That's just a very, very healthy and a very sane thing to do. So thank you for sharing that with us. The next paragraph, it's not 3, it's 4 paragraphs. Full participation, mutual support. Thank you for this one. Speaking of full participation, I've been looking forward all month to hearing Michael's question from last month and, of course, your answer. Since people have expressed appreciation for my questions, I'd like to add that asking something every month comes out of my journaling and is part of a personal commitment to engage with full participation. So that's an important point. In each month, almost in each video in the online study circle, I encourage people to journal about their experiences, to do it while they are watching, as they are letting a video sink in, but also throughout the month to stay in touch with their experiences and validate them. Even if you don't reread your notes later, that still is a very, very good and important message to your system that you are giving it your full participation. And when others send in question, Taj continues, I receive their participation as mutual support. Thanks to all who choose to publicly engage this way. I can't recommend it highly enough. Thank you so much, Taj, for pointing that out. And indeed, I would like to join you in that invitation for engagement and mutual support. I will hopefully very soon be able to announce the new Kajabi community, through which, hopefully starting in April already, we'll be able to connect more directly and have live meetings where we can actually all talk on camera. So look forward to that being available to you soon. Next, linguistic creme brulee. In the first teaching video of liver function energy, I really enjoyed your chronological linking of the 12 organ function energies, lung through liver. I am the liver of life. Last year, we began this course looking at chest, finger, face, and toe flows as 4 groupings. As part of the wrap-up, I'm indulgingly wanting to hear your expression of that progression in that order. Lung, heart, diaphragm, large intestine, small intestine, umbilicus, stomach, bladder, gallbladder, spleen, kidney, liver. Would you be willing? Okay, so first, the video that Taj just mentioned is the one I mentioned earlier. It will be up on YouTube soon. So everyone will be able to go through the chronological journey from lung to liver. Now, any one of you who have been with the study of organ function energy for a while do know that bodybuilding energy comes as a chest flow that goes out to fingers, where it becomes a so-called finger flow and flows to the abdomen and to the face. In the face to become a face flow and go all the way down the body to the feet, there to become a toe flow that then goes up to the vital center and the chest, where it becomes the next chest flow, which becomes the next finger flow, which becomes the next face flow, which becomes the next toe flow, and a third time a chest flow becomes a finger flow, becomes a face flow, becomes a toe flow, and then it all begins again. Liver being the last of the toe flows, which becomes lung, the first of the chest flows. chest flows have to do with that fiery impulse we all have to reach out into the world. Finger flows have to do with that earthy and earthen impulse we all know of solidifying and holding things, making them specific and solid. And face flows have to do with that air-like impulse of seeing clearly and seeing through and digesting and becoming light and clear in one's head and in one's life and in one's emotions and in one's body again. And oh, toe flows, they all see to that water-like impulse of renewing the aliveness within us. So that's chest, finger, face, toe that Taj is referring to. And now she is asking me if I would be willing to engage in going through lung as a chest flow, heart as a chest flow, diaphragm as a chest flow, as compared to, and then large intestine as a finger flow, small intestine as a finger flow, and umbilicus as a finger flow. So I'll do that. Now that I've mentioned, I actually think I do that early on in those very first chapters in the second and third month of this organ function study. But here's a short one for everyone out there. So I said chest flows all about the fiery part of you, of me, of anyone, to say, hey, me out into the world. Me out into the world. There's a fieriness to it. Me out into the world. But the fire of the Aries aspect of your lung function energy is a young, fresh, urgent fire. I need to go grasp the world. I need to go grab the world almost. I need to seize life's opportunities. I need to have it now. I need to climb that tree. That's a very fresh, young fire, which by the time we've gone from that chest flow through finger, face, toe flow, comes around in the second chest flow as Leo. Me, at the depth of me, there is a fire that says, look, I'm enough. I am who I am. I'm unique. I am this. Have you seen? You know, something, that radiant fire. So you have that very young, fresh fire of, some might say it's a more superficial fire. It's a surface function energy. The first four are surface function energy. The next four are deep function energy. But is it truly more superficial to want to have your share of every sweet imagined possibility, as that song in Yentl goes? Do you remember that movie from ages ago? Some of you may not have been born when that was made. Anyway, so, you know, is that really superficial? Is that not also a deep longing of the soul? But in a way, the fire is more on the surface, it's younger, it's fresher, it's more urgent. The Leonic fire, the Leo fire, the sun, that radiant sun of just being who I am, whether you like it or not. I'm not here to impress you, I'm not here to pretend that I'm who I'm not or who you'd like me to be. I'm just radiating from the depth of my core and my center. That's the Leo fire that comes with heart function energy. But oh, the fire of diaphragm of Sagittarius, a different fire yet. A fire that says, I burn and yearn for what lies beyond the horizon, what lies beyond the horizon that has limited my vision, perception, and life experience this far. I yearn, and my fire burns for reaching where no man has gone before. My God, that's even older, that's Star Trek. Yeah, so when you long to go where no human has gone before, where no spirit has gone before, where your emotions haven't gone before, where your insights haven't gone before, that deep, deep fire that is at once a reacher outer like the Aries we just spoke, and a centered, I'm here already, I'm radiant me. It's both of those and more. So it's that union of the middle function energy that says, and there's something beyond that, you know. So Where did I learn this? Is this what Mary used to say? No, it isn't. Mary said surface, middle, deep. Surface, deep, middle, rather. Surface flows, deep flows, middle flows. But when you live with these flows, I'd rather have you tell your own story as it comes up when you go into the alive essences of these flows. And then you could continue the story from here on, anyone listening, anyone watching. So, finger flows, Taurus, mine, it's all mine. The cliche of I once heard this really cheesy cliche of Taurus women as having at least one ring on each finger, which made me laugh so hard because my mother is a Taurus woman and she wore exactly one ring for 61 years. That was her wedding band. So she's just not at all into jewelry, but the bringing the abundance, the fullness of the abundance of the physical world home, taking it, going into this, having this abundant energy. It's the first earth energy. It's the first harvest. It needs to be rich. It's that abundance of the month of May. Everything is budding. Everything is bulging. So there's the bulge and the buds and the richness and the gold and the abundance. And again, it's the first go at that, and it's right here, right on earth, right in your face. That's the richness of Taurus, the cornucopia, the abundance that's right there on your table. It's all the colors, it's all the textures, it's all the materials. It's just so rich, so succulent. Do I have your mouth watering yet? I meant to. All right, but then as that moves into the second round, 4 flows later, there comes Alexander von Humboldt. There comes this learned, far-traveled humanist, this man interested in languages and plants and peoples and sounds and geography and all the sciences and all the arts, and wants to look at what else there is in the world and look at more detail and make more drawings of more plants and understand the intricacies of the world, the inner and the outer world, to more and more and more detail. So there's a different kind of abundance. There's not the cornucopia, the fullness of a table overflowing. It's not my cup runneth over. There is so much out there. There's so much out there. Look, there's something else. Look, there's this. Look, there's that. There's the bringing it home in the sense of what all exists. My goodness. That's the deep flow, earth sign, finger flow. And then the last one is Capricorn. Capricorn, the one who isn't easily fooled, who says, yeah, I live beyond the horizon, sure. My horns reach further into the cosmos than any other antenna do, but I can't find firm ground to stand on, and mind you, it doesn't take me much. Even where others say the ground is shaky, that astute, adroit mountain goat called a Capricorn stands solidly. So that connection to both the most heavenly of dimensions and the most earthly, the most specific and concrete application of it, that is the binding, the middle function, earth aspect of Capricorn. So then come the face flows. Remember, air element, right? Processing, digesting. The first of them, Gemini. Oh, there's so much to digest. Remember where we're coming from? Such fire to reach out into the world. Such an abundance to put on the table in the living room is full of shopping bags. And oh my God, will I have time to unpack it? Well, Gemini says, yes, we need to look through all of this and we need to understand it. And we need to know which cupboard this goes to and which filing cabinet that goes to and this definitely just needs to be returned. Forget it. We're not having that. That was an impulse purchase, etc., etc. There's so much to digest. My goodness, such delicious food. I've tasted it all. Now I need to digest it. I need to find where this can be put and where this can be built in and where this can get integrated. And I need to find out what it is I just can't digest. And that I'll have to eliminate. So again, first time we're doing this digestion, this clarifying, this seeing through of Gemini. There's a lot going on, like sometimes when the Gemini aspect of you is taking over the communication and there's nothing to hold it back, it just checks every side, even goes into the aspects it itself finds absurd, but you have to have been there, you know. To have given it a think through and a talk through. But the second phase flow, bladder function energy, the Libra aspect of each human being, is a different air sign. This is a different air sign, one that is spacious and deep. Spacious and deep. It knows that, yeah, what everybody likes for a reason. And then there are these things that almost nobody likes, and those are likable for very good reasons as well. And you know what? I can fully honor that the mainstream wants this, you know, the majority, most people like this. And I also know that if there is to be balance, something really ancient in you, me, and us tells me that then the exact opposite to what almost everybody likes and thinks and believes and tastes and appreciates needs to also be honored, or there cannot be balance. You know, that sense of, yeah, there's space for all of this. There is space for all of this, and there's a need for all of this to have its space honored. So that's the kind of air that Libra, also known as bladder function energy, honors, while the Aquarian air element that we looked at last month just sees through the old crab, so to speak, brings me back to center, to clarity, to clear vision, and says, I see it already. I see it already. There's no turning back. There's just no turning back once you've seen that the sun revolves around the earth and not, that the earth revolves around the sun and not the other way around. Oops, interesting slip of the tongue there. And from that, there's no holding back. There's no turning back, rather. We go right into that Piscean plunge into the water of all that is. But let me take the toe flows from the first one as well. So the first toe flow, the first time we get to anything watery at all, it's spleen. It's the Cancer aspect of all human beings, and it's the first time I am allowing flow. But this is the flow of feeling and sensing. I am feeling my aliveness. Again, let me remind us where we're coming from. Reaching out into the world, bringing home as much abundance to our table, to our home as we can, digesting and processing it all, and then feeling so alive with all of that, feeling so myself with all of that, feeling myself alive at home in something that I am becoming for the first time. And from that thing I am becoming and I feel myself as, I then radiate. Yes, that was heart flow. And by the time, though, we get to the second of the water signs, the second of the toe flows, the depth to which the flow wants to go, just the radicalness with which it wants to flow to express an aspect, you know, we often think of, oh, flow, you know, we think of flow as something gentle, but the water element is everything. It is anything from a vapor and a drop to a trickle and a flood, a tsunami. So So kidney function energy is sometimes that tsunami of complete renewal. It's that storm, that relentless beating of the waves of renewal. It can, it's at least a radical yes to anything in me that wants to be new and renewed, but it can be all the way up to what I just said, to the level of incessant change and uncompromising change. But the last water is the one that is smooth and yet all connected, smooth and soothing and yet incredibly expansive, and holds that quiet, spacious sense of aliveness from which the next fire sign, the next chest flow, here I am to seize a new day, can spring forth. So there's that. Thanks for the question. Thanks for the opportunity. You know how much I enjoy getting into these things. My current grasp at the end of this course is to nestle these three groups of four as giving me direct access to the cyclical, life-unfolding expressions of emerging, maturing, expanding beyond. Any comment about that perspective? Well, I think I've given plenty in what I just went through, right? Yes. Safety energy locks and organ flows. In the art of this practice, there are flows for the safety energy locks, flows for the organ function energy, and quickies within each one of those. And there are exotic flows outside the two big groups. In your practice of the art, what guides you to choose a safety energy lock flow over an organ function energy flow? Things like, for example, using a 13 flow over an umbilicus flow with an infant if there was an ear project. Or maybe the pure safety energy locks offer some different quality than an organ flow. Or maybe there is something you sense in the pulse or observe in that person that guides your choice. So my question again is about any principles or specifics you've learned from your years of navigating this art that might be relevant to us when choosing with Jinshin Jitsu process to use. Well, the simplest answer to that is when I'm lucky, and I guess that's the case most of the time, because I've learned to gently nudge my mind to leave me in peace. I just go with the flow that resonates most strongly with me. Yes, organ function energy has a different flavor to it. What I say in my book 1, Diving In, that speaks of the safety energy locks, is that these safety energy locks are steps in the unfolding and development of human existence. So they are principles of how we advance through life. That's different from steps of how we build our life and shape our lives. So when it's a little more dropping the breath to move forward would help this situation of body, of mind, or of spirit, that would take me to safety energy lock 1, and so on. Yeah. But of course there are certain things, the infant ear infection 13 rather than umbilicus, well, that has, among other things, a very practical reason. This on an infant's face is just simply something they generally do not like. Small children find it very irritating to have a hand in the face, and very soothing to have a hand here at the center of the chest and the other one in their back. So the 13 flow is just one that children really like to get. It's also one that combines several flows that they can use. Small intestine, large intestine, and umbilicus plus main central are all tied together in the 13 flow. And there's more such information about different flows So sometimes you make those choices based on information like that you've gotten. Sometimes also by combining what you've heard in the past. Aha, so it's bust line, but it's also that texture which points me to this depth. So this flow is a bust line flow, but that works with such and such a depth. Once you have that level of information available to you. But that's a mental choice, which can be wonderful when it comes to you naturally and sits well with you. And until that is so, it's probably best to just not question the process of what's calling you. True flow would just feel right. Second method would just feel right. That's generally the best and most direct bet. So thank you for that. I'm just quickly going to read this thing that I got from Ana Rosa. We are past the time already, and I want to get to Karen's question. So much for the commitment to stopping on time, but we won't go over much. Ana Rosa says, cool, you are so appreciated, and I'm cheering you on for all you're doing, for all your brothers and sisters in Mother Earth. Looking forward to when you will be coming to Orange County, California to share Jinshinjutsu. I would be delighted to help coordinate you make this happen. Love and blessings, and Ana Rosa. Cruise cool. Thank you, Ana Rosa. Look forward to meeting you one day. It sounds wonderful. Let's make it happen one day. It's not going to be this year because this year is too full, and we need to work on visa issues, etc. But I just wanted to share this enthusiastic remark so as to send the vibe out into the universe, right? Thanks, Ana Rosa. Karen. Dear Matthias, just a brief note to say how very valuable your reply in yesterday's Q&A was for me. This is in reference to last month's Q&A, and Karen sent this to me right the same evening as the Q&A happened. She was asking about how to let the world know about Jinshinjutsu, and I gave my thoughts on that. I loved how you unpacked things as you went along, and your focus on bringing it all back to the essence of who we are in the world. Yeah, letting who we are in the world speak rather than some text on Jinshinjutsu and its efficiency adapted to media usage. It just doesn't seem to work. This resonates deeply with me and reminds me of a beautiful book I've recently come across called Indirect Work by Carol Sanford. In essence, she says the same, that we can only ever bring about change at whatever scale indirectly, by being what we wish to see. Also, I sense it may be valuable to simply name what you suggested might come up for people, preempting the likely saboteurs' responsibility, by giving them an overt place too. Our potential resistance to taking personal responsibility, or the challenge of something that is simple and easeful when we are conditioned by the no pain, no gain mantra. Many thanks again. And then this month's question, which came in a separate email, looking forward to today's Q&A and all the liver flow brings to life, and the chance to dive further into my query regarding the connections between the third depth and diagonal mediators. You mentioned that there was a deeper relationship other than the more obvious correlations. Both activate new life-giving energy, and to look for parallels rather than identifications. Here are some I found in my notes. Numerologically, the diagonal mediator comes into being at safety energy lock 3. So there's the commonality of the number 3 creating a connection to the third depth. The diagonal mediator also flows through the arms where 3 of the third depth energy locks are located, 17, 18, 19. However, I sense there's more to this. Would you be happy to share further about what came to you right at the end of last month's session? Well, here we are at the end of the session again, and the common thread in mediator and third depth is almost what we're experiencing the second month in a row. There's almost an impatience to both of them. There is rather there's a dimension of growth. There is a knowledge that there's more, that there's always more, that being alive is to stay in movement. That's mediator action. Staying alive is being alive, coming alive needs mediation, needs a coming together, a blending. And the blending needs to keep happening. And the blending and the reaching out, arms, are designed by mediator function energy first, right? Main central gives us a backbone. Supervisors give us two legs, two sides to the body and two legs, so we can put one foot in front of another. But it's not until the mediator that we have hands and arms and the ability to act in the world and to move 360 degrees rather than left, right, left, right, left, right. So the ability to look in every which direction is also the nature of third depth, Jupiter. What beauty haven't I discovered yet? What beauty haven't I merged with yet? What beauty haven't I seduced yet? What beauty lies behind yet another mountain or in the shade of yet another tree? What else? What else? What else is there to discover, to give energy to give life to see growing, to feel growing and expanding? That's third depth essence. So as you go into that, and mediator as the eternal cosmic dancer, as you go into third depth as the quintessence, the fifth essence, behind all the others, as you realize what that means, fifth element, fifth essence means earth, solid structure and ground under my feet, yes, but, with a sense of expansiveness, please. I don't just want to be grounded. I want ground that feels full of aliveness and green and news, you know, and air. I want clarity and I want connection, but with a sense of expansion and aliveness, third depth. So I want first depth, but with a tinge of third. I want second depth, but with a tinge of third. I want fourth depth, finding my path, determining my path, but not with the rigidity of this is the way it has to be and this is the way I have to go, but with flow, with a real sense of, yeah, there's always time to find more paths and new paths. And fire, fifth depth, here I am, I'm this. Yes, but please, with that fluid aliveness of third depth, you know, it's full of vibrancy and change. So there's that dimension of third depth, which when you hold it next to the dimension of mediator, yeah, I'm this generational energy, and of course connecting it to regenerational, to of course connect it to generational. Yes, I am left and right, to of course connect those to center. So you have a lot of common sensibilities, I would say, in the mediator and in third depth. They're not the same, but yes, they do have a lot in common in what I called almost an impatience for life and movement and aliveness. So with that, thank you for all those excellent questions. Thank you for your patience to once again hang in a few extra minutes. If you don't receive my newsletters already but would like to, if you would like to stay posted on upcoming events, sign up here. This is where you also have the new hyperlinks to my simplified hyperlinks to my 3 different online sites. Online Kurse, of course, is the German one. E-learning, of course, is the English one. Cours en ligne, of course, is the French one. And matthiasjsj.de is my main website where you can choose the language that you speak to find the information. I will see you next month and wish you a wonderful time playing with today's feeling exercise and impulses.